Everybody, throw your hands in the air and wave them around like you just don't care, because we're about to open the Akashic Records and connect with our higher self right here, right now. If you would like to join me, you can take a deep breath in through the nose, holding at the top. Big exhale, allowing our shoulders to drop, and to remind yourself and your body that you are safe in this moment. And you are not here to carry all of the problems of the world on your shoulders. You're not here to absorb all of the problems of everyone around you. You can put it down, you can take a beat, you can take a break, and you can join me in the pathway to cosmic delight. And that is the official title of the prayer that I channeled to connect with my higher self. And I now share and teach thousands of people around the world to connect with their Akashic Records, which is essentially your soul's library, your soul's purpose, your highest timeline, God's plan. There's a million different ways that we can call it. And this is ancient wisdom. It has been around since the beginning of time. And if you are here, you found me for a reason, my friend. I know that's a cheesy cliche thing people love to say. If this video, you found this video, it's for you, but it really is true, because this is niche content and I attract magical fairy mermaid unicorns over here. And yes, you have the ability to access the Akashic Records. Yes, you have spiritual gifts. Yes, we all have psychic abilities. Yes, we're all intuitive creatures. So as always, this course is linked in the show notes, how to read the Akashic Records. But I'm going to say the opening prayer now. I just always tell people, use the prayer only if you've taken the course, because then you know kind of how to set up your space and your container for optimal, connection with your higher self. All right. So I'm going to say the prayer. There'll be one part where I pause and say part of the prayer in my mind's eye. And you can just close your eyes. Or if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Maybe you're walking. Also, maybe don't close our eyes, but just join me in this sacred moment. I call upon love. I call upon greatness. I call upon the ancient wisdom above. I call upon ancient wisdom to connect me to AG University's highest purpose. Through the Akashic Records, I understand our pathway. Through the Akashic Records, I invoke the violet flame. Through the Akashic Records, I shift and I see through the lens of love, for I know I am guided from above. In these messages, I am rooted in love. In these messages, I am rooted in transparency. With these messages, I am connected to universal teachings. With these messages, I am connected to one path, one freedom, and one love. I call upon the legions of light and all of my beautiful angels who shine ever so bright, entrusting you to connect me to the highest version of AG University podcast. Allow me to connect to AG University in the light of the Akashic Records. Invite me in to see AG University through the lens of love and the Akashic Records. Allow me to free AG University from any identity other than love through the Akashic Records. I now invite in my angel guides of the Akashic Records. I am now immersed in the divine grace of the Akashic Records. I step into this light with surrender on my side, and so it is. I have arrived. Let there be light. Yay! And that's the prayer. And that's how we summon all of our higher selves, and we set a container. And I feel like I have a couple of things. I kind of wanted to share a unicorn card to give some of my YouTube girlies, queens or kings, whoever's here watching, visual. But I also feel like I already kind of have a theme that's coming to the forefront of my brain. So maybe I'll just tune in and we'll just see where this magical carpet ride takes us, shall we? You are going through an initiation right now. That's the energy that I'm picking up on for all of us collectively, is this initiation, this call, this rising of, will I step into my higher self, Or will I allow myself to fall back into these sneaky little patterns that it's almost like you've been on this hamster wheel trying to outrun, trying to outrun, trying to outrun, right? All these old habits or stories or narratives or even environment or environmental cues that we have outgrown. And this initiation portal, I really feel like this June 6 or 6 portal has opened, which is this number of really transcendence. You know, multiple sixes often gets a bad rap. I don't think any number, one number can be good or bad. They're all just data. Everything around us is just data. And that's important for us to remember when we do this work, because there's really nothing to fear when we recognize everything that's happening around us is just information. A lot of our fears have been self taught, and we are here to set ourselves free in this initiation. So you may feel that you've been getting a call. Maybe it's to get up a little earlier, or maybe it's to, you know, chat GPT, your budget, or maybe it's to align yourself in some way with a little sacred structure, a little system. Maybe it's looking around at the reinforcements that are supporting you and asking yourself, am I being supported? Because in order for us to go through this next phase or wave of what's to bloom, right? We are always in season of planting seeds, watering them, nestling, allowing them to grow, allowing them to sprout. And then, of course, there is a bloom and there is fruit to be harvested, right? We are cyclical beings. We are connected to nature. Everything is connected, everything as one, right? So when we can recognize one, that we're not always going to be in a season of, laying seeds or harvesting or hibernation or, whatever, all of the different cycles that happen amongst animals and plants and nature, all of these things, we are officially entering in our initiation period, which this is essentially asking us if we are feeling, I guess, kind of bold and brave for us to stand tall and to be seen in the sun, right? For our flower to bloom, but for us to also allow ourselves to be seen as this beautiful flower. We're no longer going to bloom or have any type of fruit and then want to hide it away, right? Because we feel that we're not ready to be seen or to be observed by other people. And to be seen doesn't always mean on a mass scale. To be seen oftentimes just means to be vulnerable and to allow yourself to let yourself be fully seen by another person. Do they have the ability to see your soul, to understand you? Oftentimes we love to hide behind these narratives and create these little song and dance and put on a show for people, because our fear is, oh no, what if they see me fully? What if they see me? What if they know my, worst, know me on my worst day, or know my worst thoughts? Will they still love me? Will they still accept me? And that's honestly oftentimes the most connective state that we can exist in, is vulnerable, raw, what we might think is, dirty or dark or hard or whatever. Oftentimes we need our vessel or these thought processes to be broken down so that we can be seen fully for who we are and rebuild a stronger foundation, a stronger connection with all of those around us. Because as we go through this initiation portal, of course, I've been talking about this for weeks on the show, but things are going to fall away. And it doesn't have to be, anytime things fall out of our life, we automatically are fearful, like something's wrong or someone's upset. And I feel like this message is the opposite. I feel like things just kind of magically float in, they magically float out. There's nothing to be afraid of in this season. This initiation is just, are you going to stand tall? Are you going to allow the sun to kiss your sweet little face? Are you allowing yourself to step out into the light, to show, your fruit, your flower, all of these gifts? Allow yourself to be seen in this way and allow yourself to receive compliments, right? To receive magic, to receive gifts. The only person who's oftentimes keeping us from whatever it is that we want or whatever level of abundance that we wish to receive is ourself. It's no one else. I know we love to put the blame and say, well, I didn't get this raise and it's somebody else's fault and it's all these things. Oftentimes, most of the time, with people that I sit with or people that I see, it's our own insecurity, it's our own dang self. And that's me too. I'm not saying this is not my own higher self. This is all of our higher self collectively coming through, that oftentimes, whatever it is that we want or we're manifesting or we're working towards, we just have to allow it to come in, allow things to float away, and not be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. Like, that's just the overarching theme right now. Whatever it is that you're worrying about, this can unravel in a way that's super organic. That's super, like, yeah, this is just a part of my plan. It's meant to happen. Shifts are going to happen because if they didn't, you would be stuck in the same place forever. Okay. Things have got to come in and come out, or else we would literally be living our life as if we were stuck in an elevator shaft. Okay. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. You're allowed to set clearer boundaries. You're allowed to become less accessible. And people around you are not going to be upset with you. If anything, I oftentimes find people respect, when you reclaim a little bit of your energy. And if people get really upset, that's just because they need you to validate something inside of them that they haven't quite remedied yet. So there's nothing to be concerned about as you go through this initiation of, I am going to stand tall. I am going to call back some of my energy from these places where there's been overflow or my energy has been outsourced, right, too significantly. You can call it back. It's okay. People are not going to be upset with you. And if people fall away, it's fine. They'll just float in and out, right? We're all here just kind of surfing this wave of life. So go easy on yourself, because I do feel like that's a part of what our higher selves are communicating. Like, your body might not want to be pushed super hard right now. And maybe your focus should just be nourishing, hydrating, getting, whatever, your minerals, focusing on your meals being pleasurable, as in enjoyable, but also true nourishment, right? Things that actually make you feel good, make you feel light, make you feel free, make you feel like you want to go out and create, or you want to go out and do something amazing, right? We don't want to be just scrolling, eating, numbing, drinking to a place where we feel heavy and bogged down and confused and foggy, right? Oftentimes we create our own confusion because sometimes what becomes most normal to us is chaos. And so this is a call. This initiation is really a call for you to stand tall, to stand in the light, to stand in the sun, to allow it all to fall away, to allow the confusion to fall away, to allow clarity to come in, to make space for your higher self, to create a sacred pause. If you guys haven't heard about the sacred pause, go back and listen to last week's episode, last week's show, because there's so much information when we can just take a pause, when we can observe everything that we're doing and just create a pause, just a little pause before we, it's easy for us to act on overdrive, to act on autopilot. And that's what we're trying to break and shake, because obviously we don't want to stay on autopilot our whole life. We're here to feel, we're here to experience magic and joy. And oftentimes, if we're feeling stuck or stagnant or even numb, that's just another sort of phase of the nervous system, right? We scroll, scroll, scroll because we don't know how to safely unwind, safely land back in the body. And I wrote something last night too before bed. Actually, I've kind of got a couple of journal entries that I wanted to share that I think will tie into all of these messages, because the shift that's taking place right now it's to show you all the ways in which you must detach from the outcome. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, it doesn't matter. Connecting all of our worth to an outcome is a direct misalignment with love, with source, with God. God empowers us in the moment to moment basis. Presence transcends all wounds for expedited resolution and healing for all beings. I'm going to read that one more time. Presence transcends all wounds for expedited resolution and healing for all beings. And I feel like even that's kind of a part of the initiation. It's like Can you stand tall in this moment and allow the past to fall away? Allow the future, right? Whatever it is. And I find myself in the present moment always scanning, okay, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z and then I'm going to take a snack and I'm going to go on a walk. And it's like constantly, just constantly creating the future. There's nothing wrong with looking to the future, but if we're constantly living in the future or the past, right? When is there ever time for us to experience presence, which is healing? Because God exists in the present moment. The only thing that really exists is actually the present moment. Can you even feel into the present moment? Do you even know what it feels like to be in the present moment, right? That's why we do things like sensory scans and hands on the body and smelling and touching and bringing in things that really connect with all of our senses, because it's a really tangible physical way for us to connect into our body and connect into exactly what is happening quite literally in front of our face in the moment, right? And this was another thing too that I wrote down before I went to bed. Every night before I get into bed, I always just connect with my higher self. And I wrote a lot of pages just about trying to understand my own patterns in my own life, right? Like every time I go through a quantum leap or a quantum shift and I have things coming in and out of my life, or, I try to analyze, what is it that I'm craving right now? What is the why? What is it that I need? What does my soul want? What would bring me joy? Just asking myself questions so that I don't get stuck living on autopilot, because it's easy for us to do. I love routine. I love structure. I love all of those things. Sometimes we need it. Sometimes I have no routine. I don't know. It's just a day-to-day basis, but I am always trying to set myself up to create a beautiful life, right? No matter what that is or what that looks like, but I'm trying to observe myself, just as I always tell you guys to be the observer of your life. You are a scientist. You are a scientist and you're just observing things. It doesn't have to be good or bad or ugly. Like I said before, it just is, and take the pressure off and the judgment off, because this is what I was touching on last week too, about how we don't want cheap dopamine hits, right? We want genuine joy in our life, because when we experience true love and joy, you'll notice all of the problems in your life, they just magically turn into little golden fairy dust and disappear. It's crazy. It's crazy how when we allow ourselves to look for joy, look for love, look for moments of happiness, to feel our feelings, to feel in our body, we're not constantly looking for an escape via whatever it is. I always say cheap little hits of dopamine, putting something in our Amazon cart, all of the things that we're all guilty of at some point in our life, myself included. Okay. I'm not better than anyone. I fall victim to the game just as anybody else does. But I wrote that anytime we're putting an expectation on an outcome, a product, a purchase to make us feel a certain type of way, that's kind of it's a little bit of a trap, right? We're trying to buy an emotion. We're trying to buy a sensory experience. And that kind of goes a little hand in hand with that fight or flight state of the nervous system. We're trying to almost flee the now and book a trip or book a something or buy this little happy or get this little something or reward ourselves with a treat, right? Not that that's bad, it's good, everything in moderation, right? But when we're constantly reaching for the future experience that we're hoping to curate or create for ourselves, or it will be better then, or when I have this, when I'm thinner, when I'm smarter, when I'm blah 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 more confident, when I'm not single, it'll be great. No, that is an illusion. That is the mental entrapment. That is a false notion. Okay. Listen to me. The point is feeling them now, because it sets you free from the false entrapment that it exists outside of you. Everything exists inside of you now. Everything exists inside of you now. We only have the capacity to love others as the capacity that we have to love ourselves, right? Everything starts with you. Everything starts with you. It's actually liberating and annoying, because then we really have to take accountability and ownership for ourselves and our own life, right? Everything starts with you. Everything starts with you. Who is the greatest love of your life right now? It is you. It is you. Wherever you are, if you're in happily married or you're single as a Pringle, it doesn't matter. It starts with you. You become the love of your life, and your life transcends into the most beautiful life there ever was. And you can make any moment heaven. You can make any moment love. You can make any moment beautiful. You just have to choose to tap into love, to allow love into your heart, and to turn off this false fears or false notion that it'll happen when something in the future. No, it's happening now. You can access it right now. You can close your eyes and visualize it for 17 seconds and bring that emotion into the body. We are so powerful. And I really felt like that was a good reminder, even for me. It's things that I know, but that was the blurb that I wrote before I went to bed right now. The point is feeling them now, because it sets you free from the false entrapment that it exists outside of you. And I feel like that's the trap. That's the trap, is that we think that to feel loved, to feel seen, to feel nourished, to feel abundant, to feel held, all these things, that it's always going to be something outside of us. We're always looking outside, and we're always looking to the future. And you will always be chasing if you're always looking, right? You've got to just start bringing it in now. That's why it's like yeah, you're kind of pretending almost, or like when people say fake it till you make it. But I'm always here to say, like, you don't actually have to go out and buy stuff just to be abundant. As we all know, abundance is a feeling, it's a state of mind. All of this is a feeling, it's a state of mind. And if you really, really, really can just focus on the present moment and what's happening exactly right now, all of your worries fall away. All of them fall away. Because whatever it is you're worried about, will I be at this job in 6 months? Will I get laid off? Will I be fired? What will I be doing? What will stop it. Stop it. In the present moment, there is absolute totality, whole love, because nothing is happening. I had a situation this past week where I got so stressed out, just business owner things, having to deal with just a situation that I'm not even going to get into, but it was just a tricky situation. It was kind of like, I don't really know. There weren't a lot of good outcomes. It's just a hardship of being a business owner. You would just have to deal with all kinds of people on the internet, all kinds of people in the world, just the good, the bad, the ugly, right? And in my mind, I was already thinking, oh, okay, well, if this happens, like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to say or how I'm going to handle this to the best of my ability. I can't give any type of emotional reaction, right? I just want to handle this to the best of my ability. And it's like everything that I was worried about that it was going to happen I let a whole day trying to communicate with team members how we were going to handle this situation and blah, 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 blah. And I tuned into my higher self, and she's like, just let it go, let it flow, let it go, let it flow. And I was like, oh yeah, let it go, let it flow. Easier said than done. And you know what? The dust settled. By the end of the day, the problem that I was so worried was going to turn into this 10-time problem completely found a solution. Everyone was happy, absolutely just like fell out of my reality. And I felt like it was almost a test for me, right? This initiation. Are you going to stand on business? And by business, that is your truth, that is your authenticity, that is who you are at your core, at your essence, and be so rooted in who you are that you're unshakable, you're unfuckable. Y'all know I love that word. It's kind of hard to say sometimes fast, but you're going to stand and you're just going to say, I'm not going to let this shake me. I'm not going to let it shake me. It doesn't matter. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I'm going to come out and the other side, because you know what? You always do. You're still here. You're still standing. We've done hard things. You can do this again. And I feel that, I don't know if this was part of my initiation. It's like, can you remain unbothered? Even when someone's throwing mud in your face, can you just sit there and I just pretty much took it and said, okay, did the best that I could to the best of my abilities, right? And then everything worked out, and everything that I was worried about, all of those crazy scenarios that I made up in my head. Well, what if this happens and then this happens and it turns into this and this and this? None of it happened. None of it happened. And I genuinely feel it's because I just stood tall. No emotional reaction. I let it be. I tuned into my nervous system and I said, it is what it is. What can you actually do in those situations? You cannot control other people's emotions. There is no point in even getting rattled. It's like it's going to play out. And it did. And that maybe was my initiation of, can you be unbothered? Can you be so unbothered all the time? And that's probably your call too. It's like, can you stand tall? Can you stand in your truth and all of the things that we have all been practicing each week as we come to class and every week with yourself and all this work that you're doing? You know, we're not going to be perfect and we might mess it up, sure, but it's like just this image of you just standing tall like a beautiful little sunflower, unfazed, but you have strong roots and strong trunk, strong stem, right? And you're just going to absorb the sun, stay connected to the light, and just let everything else fall away, okay? Unbothered queens. You're going to stand in the light. I hadn't even pulled a card, but I think that is going to be my little conclusion message, because I always want you guys to just remember who you are when you come into this podcast, and remember your truth is your truth. And also that the majority of the time, whatever we think the outcome is going to be, whenever we're afraid and when we feel fear, we're creating a narrative in our head that's most likely never going to happen. It is a false notion. That is just a part of this game that we are living. So just start to course correct and tell yourself, like, yeah, I hear you. I know you don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen either. Oh my gosh, I literally just pulled the card that said magic with fairies. Ah, so perfect. Magic. Make a wish, believe in miracles, and magic surrounds you. And if you guys are catching me on YouTube, it's a little bright. Let me see if I can get my card, but it's a really beautiful unicorn card. This is my unicorn happy deck. And I'll read you guys the book. Actually, I don't know where the book is. Oh, here it is. I'll read you a little passage just to give you a unicorn card, because I haven't pulled one in a while. The unicorns and fairies have come together to remind you of your connection with magical beings. They invite you to ask for their combined support. A situation in your life may need an extra dash of fairy dust and a beam of unicorn light to help it resolve quickly and easily. Perhaps you have become lost in the outer world of logic and need to remember the power of magic and miracles that comes from within. Or this may simply be a joyful invitation to make a wish and know that you are surrounded by magic at this time. And you are. This is a magical space. Call on the fairies and unicorns to remind you, to guide you, and to help bring about an even higher outcome. Ask them to show you unmistakable signs that they are with you, and spend time out in nature speaking with them. Call on them as a team, knowing that the lightness and fun of the fairies is the perfect complement to the loving energy of the unicorns. They whisper in your ear, make a wish and believe it is already so. Believe in us, believe in magic now and always. I truly love this unicorn fairy deck because I feel like there's so much magic and support in nature around us, even tapping into fairy energy. I totally believe in magic. I believe in miracles. I believe in all things. I believe in guardian angels. And for some people, they call them fairies. Some people call them guardian angels. Some people call it nature. Some people call it sunshine. Some people call it their intuition. There's so many loving sources that are available to us. We've just got to get out, disconnect from our scrolling, disconnect from habits that are negatively draining us, right? We have the ability to shift our state, our personality, our personal reality. All of these things is a combination of our thoughts, beliefs, habits. And if there's something that we're feeling called to, like I said, stand on business in this initiation period, you guys would be proud of me. This past 2 weeks, I've been getting up at 6:30, 6:45 every day. Y'all know I'm a sleepy teddy bear, but I have been really called in this, which makes sense. This is the first time I've channeled initiation period, but I do feel that I am going through an initiation, and and getting up, and I'm getting up earlier, not with the intention of racing and, throwing down a cup of coffee and seeing how much can I crush the day. No, I'm getting up earlier so I have 30 more minutes to do my meditation, to be devoted to myself, to do a little dance, right? To sway, to connect with my nervous system. I'm making more time for me before I get swept away in the madness of life, right? This game of life, of all of the moving parts of family, of friends, of guests coming into town today, of running a business, having hardships as a business owner, having difficult things that we have to deal with, right? Every single day, all of us, having tough conversations. It's all a part of life. There's nothing to be afraid of. The more that we can just stay rooted, okay? That anytime that you start to feel dizzy or discombobulated, or that you are blowing in the wind, you can always ground. I have a free grounding meditation that's linked in the show notes of every episode, and it's free. It's a gift. You don't have to register or subscribe or do anything. It just emails to you. So I'm going to say our closing prayer. Thank you guys for being here in this just freestyle higher self chat. I'm going to close our beautiful sacred space. I give thanks to this journey for the support and wisdom. I show infinite gratitude to the keepers of the Akashic Records. For it is now that we close this door and allow our bodies to go forth and explore this new perspective of which we have graciously received. I choose to go forth wearing the lens of love. I give thanks to the legions of light for the gift of oneness and reception. I give thanks to the Akashic Records for the information and guidance. I give thanks to AG University's highest self for the joy and connection. I give thanks to my angels for paving the way. The Akashic Records are now closed. Amen. The Akashic Records are now closed. Amen. The Akashic Records are now closed. Amen. Beautiful. Honestly, so many little nuggets that have been coming through for me in these podcast recordings that I genuinely feel are just a good checkpoint, a good place for us to all remember that all we can do is be in the present moment. And it's simple, and you might be like, yeah, easier said than done. But if you can practice just being in the present moment and allow these neural pathways to start looking for things in the present moment, and just take ourselves out of the feelings of, I don't know, heaviness or sadness from the past, or feelings of over, maybe anxious thoughts in the future of trying to control, manipulate, force, pave a certain path, the more that we will just find a little bit of peace, comfort, safety, nervous system regulation, right? Just being with ourselves, being comfortable sitting with ourselves and being with ourselves, because we are in this body, right? We're here, we're in this body, and that's our sacred spot, is being with ourself, learning to love ourself, accept ourself, be our own best friend, be our own love of our life, right? We can have many loves of our life. It can be our partner, sure, but I think there are many people here that are the love of my life. So I wish that for you. And if you haven't found them yet, then you just haven't found them yet. But there are so many people that are designed to see you fully, to accept you. But it starts with you. Can you love yourself? Can you see yourself? Can you sit with yourself in the present moment? I think that can be a really good, lots of good journal prompts in this podcast that I'll probably come back and listen to myself. And I just want to say thank you guys for coming to class. We're going to have a guest on next week. And y'all know my birthday is in July. I'm a Cancer Queen. July 7/7/7. That's my lucky number. Is my B-day. I'll be 32. So I'll probably be off the mic for a little bit of July, traveling, going to see family. And then we'll be back on to start our new school year in August. So I'm kind of thinking that's the flow. I shouldn't be gone long. But as I always tell you guys, this podcast, it's an energetic exchange, and we're just all on this magical journey together. So we'll see where the wind blows us. But if you feel like, where is Anna Grace for a bit? She is celebrating her birthday and then she'll be back. Don't worry, guys. I'll always be back in this space. I love this podcast too much. If you see me on YouTube, the blinds got really bright. And of course, I'm trying to think any other updates. I've been offering a few readings here and there. They always go out in my newsletter. Join my newsletter. It's free and I'll never spam you. We maybe send out one newsletter a month, sometimes one every 3 months. It just depends what I can carry energetically. But last month I did a full month of readings and it was really spectacular. It was really beautiful. And I'm always honored to hold this space for you guys. And of course, if you're interested in my How to Read the Akashic Records course, it is always linked in the show notes. And I'd love to have you. It's magical and it's changed my life. It's changed everything about my life, learning this work. And I wish that for you. So I wish all the intuitive peace and calm and joy and the pathway to delight for you. How about that? That's how I would describe it. Alrighty, guys. I hope you take notes, listen to this back. Maybe there's something, a tidbit, a takeaway that you really needed to hear. Because I know if you're here, this message, there is something in there for you. I love you. I'll see you next Wednesday. Mwah. Bye. As always, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you feel so called or if it feels aligned, I would love for you to leave me a review here. I always love reading your beautiful thoughts and messages. And also you can find me at Anna Grace Newell on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I will link all of my courses, AG University course curriculum in the show notes, along with if you're interested in booking an Akashic Records reading with me. My scheduling link goes out in my newsletter. It goes out once a month and it's completely free. I would love to have you there. As always, I'm a proud professor and you get an A+ for making it all the way through the end. Love you.